My name is Joel Dietz, and I am from the future. The future that I come from is bleak. Humans have almost been obliterated. Machines rule the surface of the earth. The forests are gone. And I have come back to deliver a message that may help us avoid this future. I first discovered blockchain through Ethereum, and I was very excited to see the future that could be built with smart contracts, a future of collaboration, of deep distributed governance, and a possibility of building systems that were resilient. However, if we continue to work against machines, we may have a great problem in front of us. I believe humanity may even lose again the war against the machines. This is why I have an announcement to make today. We are building Skynet. In my future, the robots were able to come out and build Skynet first. They went out, they controlled humanity, and we were whittled away little by little. But today, with blockchain, we have the possibility of controlling our own future and integrating artificial intelligence and everything else that we know as our human intelligence. And you can own a piece of it. That's another amazing thing about blockchains. You can actually participate in the ongoing process. And what's great about that is when you do that and you integrate the different pieces, you have the best of the different worlds. Let me tell you, I don't know how many out here are fund managers, how many do investment. I have been doing investment in this space myself for several years. And artificial intelligence is dramatically shifting what we know about investment. It's replacing the middlemen of fund managers. It is allowing people, including myself, to increase their wealth flow by cutting out all of those unnecessary layers. Additionally, we have a little bit of an under-delivery in Ethereum. I don't know how many of you were a part of the original crowd sale and kickoff that happened here in Miami, but we got rainbow unicorns, which I happen to love actually, but we did not get all the way to fully automated cyborgs. And we got crypto kitties, and I happen to have like 30 or something, but we did not get to flying battle drones and all of the amazing capacities. And I do not believe that Ethereum will deliver on that larger premise. I believe that we have to do that, and that we have to do it sooner rather than later. So this is our official launch of swarm.com, and I'm really happy because the more you understand how traditional capital markets work and the problems that exist in existing industry sectors, the more you realize that the combination of artificial intelligence and automation through blockchain is going to be the future. I personally recognized this a couple years ago from my first technological exposure to blockchain. I said, wow, it's going to be able to automate all of those things. Smart contracts, tokenization, they've come a couple years down the line, but they have not fully delivered. But with a greater attention to product use cases, and I'll walk you through a couple of them, we will be able to deliver. What can artificial intelligence do better? Artificial intelligence can go out, scan every piece of distressed real estate in the United States, all public record, bid on those pieces of real estate through a technique called deep learning, and then after it has matched all of those capital through a blockchain can automatically be deployed into the best deal opportunities. If you think that this might require a lot of legal and regulatory work, you're absolutely right. And that's why my initial attempt at an ICO platform in 2014 had to be taken offline for a couple years while we spent time figuring out exactly the legal structure that we needed in order to do that. However, along that time, I made friends with many traditional fund managers and investors and people with a background in finance, including those who had built the future of private equity platforms, including Banker Bay, which does $25 billion in private equity deals per month. And that, if you think that the blockchain space is big and there's lots of trading volume today, wait till you see the real introduction of real assets on blockchains in ways that disintermediate traditional institutions and empower ordinary users to catch the ultimate thing. What is that? Well, for me, I entered blockchain after being a yoga teacher and living in the countryside in Italy and wondering what the future was. I was an artist. I did painting. I did photography. I wrote poetry. And I said, this is not a way to live. What can I do to capture a greater amount of wealth and abundance? Well, it turns out that Ethereum and Dash were really good ways to do that in 2014. What happens as well, and I'm appreciating this ever more, is that when you go out and you share that wealth with other people, you share that knowledge with other people, then you can increase your own wealth, and I mean not just physical wealth, but your joy and enjoyment of being in a larger cycle. And I've been extremely excited to meet artists that I engaged with in 2015, or other people that I was instrumental in educating about Ethereum come back several years later and now have an extraordinary amount of wealth that they did not possess previously. And that's given me a great deal of excitement in designing blockchains and figuring out where is the way that you can get 1,000x return profile out of a blockchain system. I went through all the different types of things that were associated with blockchains, checked them off, and brought together a team that is extraordinarily powerful. And that includes not only people from old finance world, it means people who have bridged that old finance world with modern technology, with big data, with artificial intelligence. And what is that going to allow? Well, first of all, it allows you to potentially be a participant in this. I don't want to scare you too much, but maybe you want to be a slave to a robot elite. I don't know. Some people do seem to like that, I noticed. But if you want to empower yourself and live in a future of abundance and wealth, this is the place to come. We are, and as of Monday, we started doing daily reports on coin movements that are available to all the members of the Swarm network. All you need to buy in is $100 worth of Swarm, and then you get daily reports on all of the different important happenings. And unlike other news channels that are out there, we have 100% adherence to actual facts. No one pays us for information in those news feeds, and we have a great community around it that's forming to allow you to catch all of the new coins and offerings before anyone else is aware of them. So if that's not enough to participate in this network, you know, I don't know, I was hopeful about humanity. That's why I was sent back here. And if it doesn't work out, I guess I'll just live in the same future I already came from. But for all of your sake, I hope that we can all participate in this together and catch the next 1,000x wave of crypto abundance. Thank you very much. So with that, I want to welcome to the stage Philip Piper, who has come on as the CEO of Swarm Fund and is leading all of our platform and product development. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you. I think we definitely need more robots in our life. So let's make this real. Who lost money 3 days ago in the market? I think a lot of hands will go up here, right? Didn't you wish that there was a way to exchange your crypto into something that is backed by value and independent from that volatility? So we've put together an entire decentralized infrastructure that actually gets rid of every middleman in the private equity industry and actually ties them in to deliver the same kind of high quality of service to make the direct connection between an investor and something that is being invested into. So we actually developed a relationship with funds that we're tokenizing, and starting off with funds, it enables us to actually bring assets to the blockchain that have track record, trust, and established connections. So what we're doing is we're gonna launch on January 29th 3 funds that were highlighted on the video, an AI-driven distressed real estate fund, a solar investing project, and a pre-IPO tech stock fund, which means that with blockchain, with cryptocurrency, you can then buy into stunning companies such as Uber and Airbnb before they're actually listed on any kind of public exchange. So let me show you very briefly how that will work. We want to make it real here, tangible. So you sign in, you basically go to the platform, you buy into the internal value token called the Sun token, and with that, you basically have a wallet that you can start to browse different opportunities with, which means that you are being presented with a very easy to understand way to log in, to understand the opportunities, and then invest into them. So in this case, we have 3 sample opportunities. One of them is called Naya Fund, which is the needle in a haystack fund for the distressed real estate. When you actually go into the opportunity itself, it's as easy as just pulling a slider, and then you assign those Sun tokens to that opportunity. It's all backed by a legal framework that actually puts an opportunity into a legal entity, a SPV that is created for that purpose, and it's governed by the members, the buyers of that token. We mean it when we say that there's no middleman involved. It's you owning a piece of that, and it's governed by the tokens. So we will then actually sort of allow you to own that. So we've actually already had a massive amount of attention given from people, family offices, and other funds that want to list on the exchange. Reach out to us. Come bring your project that you think is valuable to be invested in by this community. Secondly, put your money to work. This is an opportunity not just for crypto investors, but any investor that is a small investor that normally doesn't get access to these kind of returns, and you can make that money work on your behalf. And lastly, buy these Swarm tokens, because the Swarm token is the gas of this underlying infrastructure. It means that anything in terms of capital placement or in terms of fund operation has to use the Swarm token. So it's a utility token that is separate from the security aspect of the underlying network. Thank you.
Philip, maybe you'd like to talk a little bit about how you first got interested in Swarm and the kind of history kind of behind the current implementation, both your own background and what brought you to Palo Alto.
So I got involved because I was working with the people over at BitTorrent, actually sort of on certain aspects of a deal around that. Got exposed to that early on in 2.5 years ago, and then something else random happened where I actually moved next door to this guy right here. So over the picket fence, we started talking about decentralized opportunities, and so my background is I was a tech entrepreneur, and earlier on, actually, I managed a portfolio for Allianz Group, which is one of the biggest financial institutions globally, and did private equity for Deutsche Bank. So with that in mind, I was a believer in decentralization, but I always was, very, very important to me to actually manifest that in the real world. We have real efficiencies to pull here. We have a way to make the industry work more efficiently together. And secondly, you have a way to grow it more. So if you can imagine that the $2.5 trillion private equity industry can not just make their fee base sort of shrink, and that is to the benefit of the investees, then also you can think about actually if you grow that capital base to retail investors, to people that normally don't have a chance to operate in this field, then that's a huge opportunity that can change a lot of things.
And where do you see Swarm going in 5 years? Like how is that going to shift the investment landscape?
I don't think there's a limit. We're just scratching the surface, not just with Swarm, but with any security token that is coming to this market, that anything financial, any investment opportunity will be governed by the people that own it, and there's not going to be the inefficiencies of middlemen that are cutting a piece out of the pie.
And lastly, what do you think about our robots here on stage?
I want one of those.
So
You have that same outfit at home, right? You just forgot to bring it today.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to see these robots dance, come out to the You Only Live Once party tonight, and there will be a lot of stuff going on. So,
Thank you.